All right, let's go through the structures of the kidney and the nephron here on the kidney board model. First, we're going to go through the cross section of the actual kidney here. We'll start with the renal or fibrous capsule that surrounds the very outside of the actual kidney itself, right? And then we have two layers of tissue within the actual kidney itself. We have the renal cortex that runs from here to here, and it runs all the way around the kidney. And then we have the renal medulla, which forms kind of a core of the kidney, and that you see running all through here. So this is the renal medulla. Now, within the renal cortex, we have the renal columns. You can see those renal columns here. And within the renal medulla, we have the renal pyramid. So here's a pyramid, and here's a pyramid, 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 so on and so forth. And we have the renal papilla. The renal papilla is the very edge of the actual renal pyramid where that formed urine is going to then flow into these open vessels here. We can see again, so it's that very edge of the pyramid here, or another view is right here. This would be a view looking straight at it. So right where the tip of this wooden probe is. Now, as that urine is formed and flows into these open vessels here, these open vessels have names, obviously, right? So there is a minor calyx, minor calyx, minor calyx, minor calyx, minor calyx, minor calyx, minor calyx. So minor calyx here for every actual pyramid, right? And these minor calyces will then merge together to form a major calyx, which we see here. Minor, 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 minor calyces all run together to form a major calyx, right? And then you've got the renal pelvis right here. Now, these three sets of open structures, right? All the minor calyces plus the major calyces plus the renal pelvis combined are known as the renal sinus. Now, if we move into the actual looking at blood flow within the kidney, right? We would start with the renal artery here, and that renal artery is then going to split up into multiple smaller arteries called the segmental arteries. Right? So renal artery to segmental arteries. The segmental arteries will then divide up into interlobar arteries. So here's an interlobar, here's an interlobar, 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 for example, right? Now, those interlobars, as that begins to arc over the top of the actual pyramids here, this is the arcuate artery. Arcuate artery. Another arcuate artery here. Now, the first vessel to actually breach into the cortex is going to be this next vessel that branches off of the actual arcuate. And so the arcuate here, and these are the interlobular or cortical radiate. So taking a look at this other view, this is the arcuate artery, and this is an example of a interlobular or cortical radiate artery. Now, branching off the interlobular is this blood vessel here that's going in to the glomerulus and glomerular capsule here. This vessel here, or here, or here, or here, or here. These vessels are known as the afferent arterioles. And the afferent arterioles bring blood or bring blood into the actual glomerulus, seen here, and then that blood leaving the glomerulus is going to exit through what we call the efferent arteriole. So this is an efferent arteriole, this is an efferent arteriole, this is an efferent arteriole, efferent arteriole, efferent arteriole. Now, that blood will run either into the peritubular capillaries, seen here, or the vasa recta, seen here. Now, blood returning from these two sets of capillaries will run in through the interlobular vein, which we can see here, and into the arcuate vein, seen here. From the arcuate vein, seen here on this view, it runs into the interlobar vein, except here there's going to be no segmental veins. So it's going to run right from interlobar veins directly into the renal vein. So that's blood flow through the actual kidney. Now let's talk about the actual nephron itself. Right? So as I said before, we've got the glomerulus, which is that ball of capillaries seen here, and the capsule around it known as the glomerular capsule. Now, the two of these things combined together, the glomerular capsule and the glomerulus combined, are known as the renal corpuscle. Okay? Now, filtrate coming out of the glomerulus is going to get caught into the capsular space of the glomerular capsule here, and then it will first begin to run through the proximal convoluted tubule, seen here. Now, once that fluid is run through the proximal convoluted tubule, it will go through the nephron loop, and then to the distal convoluted tubule. From there, it will run through the collecting tubule, down through the collecting duct, and then out to the actual renal papilla. On this view of the model here, we can see that afferent arteriole, the glomerulus, the efferent arteriole. We can also see the glomerular capsule, the very beginning portion of the proximal convoluted tubule, and a portion of the distal convoluted tubule.